Hey there, it's Kristi, and today's verse is Matthew 5, verse 13, and it says this: "You are the salt of the earth, but if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled by men." Now, Jesus was talking here. This was after the Beatitudes. He's kind of continuing on into his talk to the people, but he's now left the Beatitudes per se, and now he's going on with his conversation. So, what is he talking about when he's saying salt? Well, if you know anything about salt, when we put salt on our food, what does it do? It enhances the flavor. It brings out those flavors that are within the food. But also, it's a preservative. It is often used on meats and different things in order to preserve it from spoiling. All right? And so when he says, "You are the salt," he's talking about Christians. He's talking about those of us who are Christ followers. And he's saying, go out there and add that flavor to your conversations, to your lives, to those you work with, to those you go to school with, to those you live with. Add that something different, which is Jesus within us. All right. And then he says, he's also talking about that preservative portion. Salt is a preservative, but we are pointing people to the ultimate preservative. Jesus is the preservative because he saves us from an eternity in hell if we put our faith and trust in him. And so that's what he's saying. Go out and be different, add that flavor, but also point people to Christ. But then what he says here is, but if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? All right, if we go out every day and we don't act like a Christian, if we don't live the truths of God's word, and we are just like everybody else, we've lost our saltiness. People do not see anything different in us, and now we've lost our witness. We cannot gain that back. It is hard to gain that back because once people know how you are and they think, well, you're no different than the world, it is hard to then turn and be different because they already have their mind made up of how you are. So he says it can't be made salty again. It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled by men. So this is your charge today. This is what I want to encourage you to do. Go out and be different. Add that flavor to your conversations. Add that flavor to your social media posts. Add that flavor of the gospel to those you come in contact with. And then also point them to the ultimate preservative. Point them to Jesus, because we are in the last of the last days. We are in the last hours, the last ticking seconds, I think, of the end times. We're getting close to Christ's return. So we need to be very forward in teaching others and telling others about Jesus and what he's done for them, because we want them to be able to share in that eternity with him. So hope you have a good day. Talk to you later.